Hello everyone, welcome to Zero Labs. Today is Friday, September 19, 2025. I'm Mark Brash, your host, and today I'm going to share with you a very, very important automotive maintenance tip. So the SB230 linear amplifier project is on hold at the moment. It is completely assembled, but I'm still diagnosing a problem with the 80 meter section. I have a parasitic oscillation problem. I don't know. It's a tough one, so I'm still working on that. And unfortunately, I had to stop working on that because life has suddenly thrown at me an unexpected and unwelcome turn of events. Well, boys and girls, this is a sound no car owner ever wants to hear. That is the sound of the connecting rod bearing after you let your oil level get too low. You damage the bearing, it makes that noise. Time for a new car. 275,000 miles. The 06 Camry has reached its end of life. The car that I drive is a 2006 Toyota Camry 2.4 liter 4-cylinder VVTi engine. It has 275,000 miles on it. It's a lot of miles, but it was still going very strong, running very well. It did have one problem, and the problem that it had was it was beginning to consume oil more frequently. The rate of oil consumption was going up. When I first bought the car with 220,000 miles, the rate of oil consumption was probably a quart every 1,500 to 2,000 miles. At last check, I was probably putting in a quart every 1,000 miles. And that last check was several months ago. The reason for it was defective or wearing valve stem seals. Now, I did have it on my list of things to do to replace the valve stem seals, to correct the oil consumption problem, and squeak a little more life out of the car and out of the engine. I really did, I swear. But I let it go too long. And the rate of oil consumption increased beyond what I expected. The oil level dropped beyond what I should normally allow. And on a trip to the golf course, going golfing with my wife's uncle yesterday, the car started to make a tapping noise. On the way home, I put in 2 quarts of oil at a gas station and barely made it to the bottom of the oil dipstick, and the tapping had not gone away. I thought, okay. Got it all the way home, did some diagnosis. I spun a bearing, or more than one. And what that means is a spun bearing is a metallic surface against the crankshaft that should only have a very small gap in it. And if the car gets low on lubrication and loses lubrication, that the surface of that material that acts as a buffer between the connecting rod and the crankshaft, it melts and it wears away. And it leaves a very large gap, and it makes a very large knocking noise. And unfortunately on my car, the only way to fix it is to pull the motor completely out of the car. It cannot be the connecting rod bearings cannot be changed with the car, with the engine in the car. You cannot just drop the oil pan because the entire crankcase has to come apart in 2 halves. And newsflash, I don't even want to do that if I pull the motor out of the car. And so unfortunately, my '06 Camry has reached its end of life, and I am shopping for a new car. Yay! I will buy another Camry. I love the Camrys. But the moral of the story is, if you know your car is burning oil, check the oil regularly. In fact, check the oil more than regularly and keep it topped off, because the alternative is very, very expensive. So, like I said, I'm shopping for a new car. And to do so, I'm going to use the same technique that I used when I bought my wife's 2012 Toyota Camry. I bought that car with 185,000 miles on it, and I was 100% certain that the motor was in absolute pristine condition because I had this. This is what I call my blow-by gas indicator. This is just a plastic bag from half a dozen English muffins. It's tall, it's narrow, and this is an empty plastic jar of vitamins. Spring Valley. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that the threaded opening is 1 3/8 across, which is just slightly larger than the oil filler cap on the top of your motor. The way you use this is fill the bag about halfway with air, okay? Screw it onto the top of the motor. Take the oil filler cap off, screw this to the top of the motor, start the car. If the engine is really healthy and has very low blow-by gas, what will happen? The EGR valve will draw air through the crankcase into the intake manifold and create a negative pressure in the in the crankcase, and the bag will collapse until it can't collapse any further, creating a vacuum. That way you know that the engine has very low blow-by gas. If the engine has a lot of blow-by gas, such that the EGR cannot compensate for it, the bag will do that. If the bag does that, walk away from the car. This is probably one of the simplest and most significant gadgets you will ever bring to a used car dealership when searching for a car. Now, this opening is for a Toyota engine. I don't know if other engines are the same size. You can literally just cut the top of this off and hold it in place on top of the opening while you're running this test. The velocity of the gases will be fast enough that it will either suck it down or it will blow it up. All right. So, bookmark this video. Please never forget this lesson, because the engine that I got in the 2012 Toyota Camry that I bought for my wife is in such good condition that it doesn't even burn half a quart of oil between oil changes at 5,000 miles. And the oil is still clean when I pull the dipstick out. Huge indicator. Huge indicator. A used car dealer will always put fresh oil in the crankcase so that it looks like it doesn't, it's not turning black. But look under the oil cap when you take it off. Put this little gadget on top of the motor when you test the engine. Watch what it does. And if it does the right thing, start dealing. If it does the wrong thing, walk away. That's your tip of the day. I know some of the other automotive tips that I've shared have gotten rave reviews, and I really enjoy doing these for you guys. So again, please rate, share, comment, and subscribe to my videos. And peace, everyone. And here I am doing it all over again because I did not have the microphone on for the first take.